your popcorn and your snacks, people, because I'm going to be making some people mad today. Oh, yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa. If you are new here, your favorite problematic housewife. Okay, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot, okay? We're gonna be talking about the whole situation with Swoop, Do We Know Them podcast, Johnny, that whole thing. I have a lot of thoughts on the Jessica Kent situation and a live stream a creator named Tracie Noelle did. I have thoughts on that, so we're gonna talk about that. And I also have thoughts on another channel, Anora, and people who dislike a newer mommy vlogger named This Mad Mama. So we're going to be getting into that as well. So it's going to be a long one. So first we're going to get into the Anora and my hair is like kind of frizzing today. It's raining out. First, we're going to get into the Anora and this Mad Mama stuff. Then we'll go over the whole drama that's going on with Jessica Kent and Jason being arrested by the feds, people exposing her trauma. And then we will get into Swoop exposing Johnny, Do We Know Them podcast, getting all this hate and all stuff like that. So we're going to get into all of this shit, okay? And some people are probably going to get angry at my opinions, but, you know, I'm the problematic housewife, and we got to keep it real over here, so it is what it is. Before we get into it, thank you so much for the love and support and well wishes on my son DJ. He broke his arm on the trampoline, and it was just very traumatic for our whole family. Nothing like that has ever happened before to any of my kids, and I have 4 of them. One of them is 14. Nothing like that has ever happened before. It was very scary, and we have 2 little kids, 3 and 2. So like we had to get my son to the hospital. I had to sit with the girls. I had to wait for my mom to be able to come to watch the girls so I could go to the hospital because DJ needed to have surgery on his arm, and like it all came out on so suddenly. I was literally like in shock. But the surgery went well. He came back home the same night, and he did really well. He's got his cast on. He's got all comfortable. He's set up. We get him all his snacks and his tablet, and it's a challenge because he's now starting to feel better, and he wants to jump on the trampoline and do all this stuff, but he can't. So he has to heal. So that's been a little bit of a challenge, but I'm just glad he made it through okay. And that was one of the worst things I think that ever has happened in our family. It was scary. So thank you all for the support and the well wishes. I appreciated it very much. Okay, so we're about to get into it, but I just want to remind everybody, please don't send any hate to anybody. We're just discussing our opinions here. This is my opinion, my thoughts and feelings on things that are happening on the internet and things I feel like need to be discussed and problems that are going on. Okay, now that we're done with all that, let's start off with Anora and This Mad Mama. So This Mad Mama is a mommy vlogger that is friends with Alicia Doherty. So I think that's mostly how people found her. And she's very controversial. She's like one of those, like, she kind of reminds me of like that quirky, like eclectic mom that has a million kids and it's kind of like a hippie, and she's a mess at the car line and, you know, unorganized, and people judge her at school and you know what I'm saying? Like there's always one of those moms, and I feel like she gets judged very harshly because of her personality and how she does things in her house. She also bought like a new house, and it's like this old like house that's like really in need of renovation, and people think she's like keeping her kids in like a dangerous, scary like freaking dungeon. Everybody loses their minds over her house. They lose their minds over what she eats. They're calling her disgusting, trash, dirty. You know how the anti-mommy vloggers do, you guys. They just can't help themselves. The anti-moms just cannot help but to judge and pick apart every little thing a mom does. And when that community focuses in on one mom, that's it. Everybody jumps on, everyone's talking about her, everyone is picking apart everything she does. They wait for one thing to happen in a vlog, put it in a video, and it's like, it's just ridiculous, okay? There was some instance where she was feeding her kids spaghetti out of a can. She had her 14-month-old sleeping on the floor. People are always zooming in on pictures and videos and saying her house is disgusting. And of course, Honora has jumped on the hate this mad mama bandwagon. And everyone seems to be an expert in parenting and what people should be doing when they watch these moms. This lady has like 14 kids, okay? And does she do things that I wouldn't necessarily do? Yeah, my kids would not eat spaghetti out of a can. They just wouldn't do it. They want their special bowls and spoons and heated up, then cooled off, and sit with their tablets and eat it and whatever. But who cares? Why does anybody care what she's feeding her kids? That never makes sense to me. And they did the same thing with Alicia Doherty, where they were just so obsessed with what she was feeding her kids. And I don't understand what the fucking issue is. Why do you care? Why do you care? If you're not watching this woman to see her share her life and watch her vlogs, then what are you guys watching her for? Just to hate her? That makes no sense. And I understand as a commentary channel, we have to watch people we don't like, but I don't get why people watch mommy vloggers they don't like. It's just, it will never make sense to me. It will never ever make sense to me. So Honora took it upon herself to dig into this mad mama's personal life, because that's what Honora loves to do. She loves to insert herself into places where her ass does not belong. She did it with the bio mom, okay? Reaching out to the bio mom and all this stuff. This is what she does. This is what Honora does. She'll dox people. She'll dig into your background. She will dig into your personal life, all while saying she's bringing awareness to child exploitation. Bitch, you aren't bringing awareness to shit. You are hurting people, hurting kids, hurting families, using people's trauma for content, using people's lives to turn it around and use it against them on your channel, okay? Honora should literally just give it up, because she ruined her channel. She destroyed her credibility. People think she's just like crazy now, and I think that she's a joke. She's a clown. She's a fraud. She doesn't do anything to help child exploitation, and I literally cannot stand her. So this mad mama shared that she got pregnant with 2 of her children, and one of them she got pregnant with she was 14, okay? So, and it turns out the baby daddy of this kid is an adult at the time. So she got pregnant with an 18-year-old when she was 14. Now, Honora took it upon herself to dig into who this guy is, and decided that everyone needed to know what he looks like, and that he was an S offender, and he's on the S offender registry. And that is just so disgusting and way out of line. That was not Honora's place to insert herself into this woman's life and put that on blast to use against her. That's not bringing awareness. You're not making the public aware of an S offender hiding in the community. That would be one thing, okay? In some instances, I do think that a S offender doesn't have a right to privacy, and if he's hiding within a community and could possibly be a danger to people, I think the public should be made aware who this guy is, what's on his record, and to be careful. But that's not the case here. This guy is not online. He doesn't have a platform. He's not mingling around with people in the community. There is literally no reason to expose who he is and what's on his record, other than to use it against this mad mama, because Honora doesn't like her. And the more people that accept this behavior from her, the worse she's going to get. Nobody should be okay with this. Nobody. It's disgusting. And I know Shelly Abbott did a video, Kirsty did a video, like some people are calling it out. And I think that if you're going to call out mommy vloggers and your channel is supposed to be about problematic behavior, things that are being done to kids that are wrong, I think you have a responsibility to call out people like Honora and the people in your community that are doing worse things to the children. You cannot sit there on your channel and say, this mad mom is hurting her kids. She's doing this to her kids. This mom's doing this to her kids. They're all hurting their kids. They're exploiting their kids. And then have people in your community doing worse to the children, hurting them more than the parents, and just ignore it. Like, I just don't think that you can do that. And that's just my opinion. I'm not telling anybody how to run their channel, but I do think that that shouldn't be allowed. And it doesn't have to be drama, fighting, or anything. To just stand up and say, I don't accept this behavior. It's not okay, and I don't stand for it on my channel, and I'm gonna call it out. That doesn't have to turn into drama. You know what I mean? Now, I know Anora loves to make it into drama when people call her out, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can say that you don't agree with something, and you can say something is wrong without it turning into drama. Just saying. But I don't understand ripping this woman apart on a daily basis, like her bedtime routine, when she feeds her kids, the fact that her baby slept on the floor. It doesn't matter, you guys. At the end of the day, it does not matter, and people need to stop being so judgmental of other parents. You don't really know what's going on. You only know that little bit that she's showing on TV. When are the anti-mommy vloggers going to stop judging other moms all day, every day? It's just getting sickening at this point. I don't care what she feeds her kids. I don't care where she puts her kids to bed. None of my fucking business, honestly. And to a certain extent, I get it. If you put your kids out there, you are subjecting them to hate and possible harassment. And I have wondered myself sometimes, like, why do these moms do this? Like, why do they continue to subject their kids by showing them too much? Like, I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm not saying that people should just blast their kids 24/7. I cannot even share one thing about my kids without a troll using it against me in some way. So you really do need to be careful, but I just don't think it's right to be dragging this mom day in and day out because she's the new Alicia Daugherty that everybody hates. I just think it's wrong, and I think people need to be careful when they're claiming they care about exploitation and bringing awareness to these issues, but then they're making videos like just ripping apart shit that doesn't matter. And I feel like that constantly happens in the anti-mommy vlogger community. And Anora is disgusting trash, in my opinion. I wanted to show some of these community posts really quick that Anora is posting on her channel. Here's one where she's making fun of the canned spaghetti. Here she's saying that Mad Mama is perpetuating our culture, defending ours, stop being silent. Before I read these nasty posts, peep that profile pic. Bitch, that ain't you. You're dumb looking, filtered up AI, whatever the hell it is, that ain't you, bitch. We know what you look like, Anora. Stop fronting. Could you imagine getting pregnant at 14 and glorifying teenage pregnancy? Not only that, oh my friends, this Mad Mama loves talking about getting pregnant at 14 by an 18-year-old man that is a registered S offender in the state of New York for not only going after Veronica at 14, but her ex went after a 15-year-old girl when he was 26. She never mentions her ex-husband being a registered SO, but she as fuck likes to talk about how he gave her babies when she was 14. This is gross. And then she's literally tagging Daugherty Dozen and news media outlets. What the hell? Then she says, I can't even explain the disgust that is you. Lies and excuses for your dirty house when we can clearly see this was a learnt behavior. Let's talk about the dangers that is Mad Mama. Should we be worried about her younger children and the dirty/unkept environment they are forced to live in? You're a pig of a woman and a pig of a mother. This Mad Mama, clean your fucking house. I cannot believe you not only allow your kids to live in this filth, that you lack any and all shame by posting this filth for people to watch. You are fucking gross. Clean your house, you sack of shit. Well, Anora, the only sack of shit is you. I mean, because she has dirty stairs. Who gives a fuck? Anora, why don't you show us what your fucking house looks like? Why don't you show us your face, your full face in your house, your kitchen at all times, all the rooms in your house, what your kids look like. I would love to see it all. Since you want to sit there and hide behind a fake fucking profile pic and drag this mom, you nasty shithead, I want to see you. I want to see your shit, girl. So let's move on because I have a lot to talk about, and this video is gonna get long, and I'm gonna have to be like, my voice is gonna hurt from all the freaking talking. Okay. So next we're gonna talk about. Sorry if I look shiny, you guys, and I have like lipstick that I was putting on my face in my hand. I'm a mess. Okay. We're gonna talk about Miss Jessica Kent and all her drama that has been going on lately, because you know she's always got drama. So first, we're gonna talk about how Jessica Kent made a video telling the story of how Jason was recently arrested by the feds at her house. And I think the way she told the story was very confusing and a little bit manipulative, because when I first watched the video, the way she presented it, and she showed the feds showing up at Jason's house. So I had kind of assumed that like Jason got arrested at his house, and then she said like that they looked for him at her house. It was like unclear and kind of confusing until people were like, no, Jason got arrested at her house. So Jason got busted by the feds at her house with her there, her children there. She was harboring a damn fugitive, and she explains some of the story. You know how Jessica is. She loves to leave details out sometimes. But she was saying how because he had a body warrant, the feds can go in any place that he is to look for him. And she knew that he was supposed to turn himself in. She knew that. She knew that he had a warrant and he was a fugitive. And she still let him in her house and potentially traumatize her kids when the feds come busting down her fucking door. I think that's gross. I also think that Jessica uses other people's stories for content. Like the second something happens in someone's life, like in somebody that's in her life, anything that happens, she uses it as content. The second Jason, she's like, oh, Jason wants to do it. Jason wants me to share this story. But the thing is, Jessica is very manipulative and Jason is in love with her. So he's going to allow her to do whatever she wants. If she wants to talk about his story, of course he's going to say yes. But I still think it's gross to use other people's stories for content and views. Because that's the only time Jessica really gets views these days, is if she's like talking about some kind of drama that's happening in her life. And I think it's really gross to use other people for content. And I don't think she sees it that way. I think she sees it as, well, people are going to find out, right? So I might as well get ahead of it. But you're still using somebody's like traumatic events. Like she did that with Reese as well. She did that with Mindy. Everybody in her life, she like uses their shit for content. And I just think to a certain like extent, like why can't anybody in your life have their privacy? And I feel like she's almost like convincing people, and this is just my opinion, okay? This is not a fact, okay? But it's just my opinion that she's very persuasive and manipulative, and she convinces these guys to allow her to use their story on her channel. And maybe they wouldn't actually want that. And that's my opinion. I think it's very dangerous to have a guy staying in your house and allow him there when you know that any moment he can be taken by the feds in front of your kids. It's iffy, Jessica. Like, I don't know what you're doing, girl, but I definitely think Jessica is stuck in her old life. I think she reminisces about the good old days and glorifies and glamorizes prison life, drug life, and none of that stuff is glamorous. It's not pretty. It's actually very just ugly and hard and destroys people. And I feel like the way Jessica talks about her life, she laughs, she giggles, she makes it like she was this hard convict and a drug dealer and all this stuff. And I feel like she is not really showing the nasty truth to living that lifestyle. And some of us have been addicts, and some of us have lived similar lifestyles, and we know that it's not glamorous. We know that it's not fun. It's not a good time. It's not a party. So I kind of start to side-eye the recovery community a little bit when I see people kind of glorifying and reminiscing about their good old days doing stuff. Like, I understand that too, like there's addict humor. You know what I mean? And I understand, like, you're talking to your friends, if you guys are both addicts, you'll laugh a little bit, like, oh my God, like, remember that time that there was a time that I, like, snorted so much I fell over. You know what I mean? Like, I understand, like, dark addict humor. Don't get me wrong, I do. But if you're going to be in a recovery community and you're going to be an actual advocate and say that you are, I think you have to be careful what you share, because you can really trigger people by talking about this stuff like it's so amazing, it's the good old days. It's almost like she wants to remain in that life, and she kind of does. And I think that's another reason why she latches on to Jason. One, because she can walk all over him. He's obsessed with her. He will do anything for her. And I feel like Jessica kind of needs somebody like that who's going to do whatever she wants, and, you know, like power of the pussy type of thing. But also, I think Jason is her way of, like, holding on to that life. And she says she's moved on, she's doing better, and she's not living that life anymore, but she's still holding on to people who are living that life. And it's like her way of kind of dipping her toe in a little bit and not completely giving it up. And I think that's one of her issues. Now, I also want to talk about a situation that happened with Tracie Noelle. Now, Tracie Noelle is a content creator that has been, like, putting a lot of work in to expose Jessica and expose her lies. Now, I don't dislike her. I don't think she's a bad person. I just want to stop really quick to say that I edited out the specific part of where I talked about what Tracie Noelle did in her recent live stream. She was kind of reading reports, and she sort of spilled a little bit too much about something that was going on with Jessica when she was a child. And somebody in my comments was like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't say the exact thing to spread it more. And I totally agree. So I just left in the parts where I'm kind of generally speaking. In my opinion, I think she's going too far. I think she's digging way too much into things that don't matter. I think it's very questionable and iffy to be requesting all of these reports, and I feel like she's misusing the Freedom of Information Act. The Freedom of Information Act is there so yes, we can request public. I also wanted to talk about really quick, I've been doing some research online about abuse of the Freedom of Information Act, and there's actually quite a few articles of this happening within governments. People who work for the government, academic researchers, scientists, people are saying that this act is being misused to harass and bully people. And I found that interesting, and I couldn't find anything about using FOIA requests for online harassment, but I do think it's becoming an issue, and I think it'll be interesting to have this conversation and what happens down the line as more and more people request these public records to kind of harass and bully people on the internet. And it's obviously not it's a lower level issue than somebody who works for the government or is a scientist, but it is still an issue that I see happening more and more nonetheless. So I will link a few of the articles down below because I found that very interesting, and I do think this is a growing issue on the internet. Records, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's right to take those public records and just, like, blast them all over YouTube to use against somebody. That is not what the Freedom of Information Act is for. It is not for drama channels. It was not made for that. And I feel like it's being completely misused and mistreated in order to come at people, use their criminal backgrounds against them, try to find the lies, try to find the holes in the story. And I think it's pretty fucked up to keep using FOIA requests for drama, because it's not. Somebody's criminal record is not drama. Somebody's trauma is not drama. And I've been watching it from the sidelines for quite a while, and it's like, first she got this report to prove she was lying about being pregnant. Then she was requesting the New York reports. I don't think it's right. And I know it's going to upset some people. And I understand that Jessica has lied about some things. And I understand that her lies are her personal life. So in order to expose her lies, therefore, you have to find out from things in her personal life. But I think that Tracie Noelle is wrong. I think she's wrong, dead wrong. And I think she's going down a bad path. I don't think it's worth it what she's doing. There's plenty of things you can talk about in order to come at people, use their criminal backgrounds against them, try to find the lies, try to find the holes in the story. And I think it's pretty fucked up to keep using Foia requests for drama, because it's not. Somebody's criminal record is not drama. Somebody's trauma is not drama. And I've been watching it from the sidelines for quite a while, and it's like, first she got this report to prove she was lying about being pregnant. Then she was requesting the New York reports. I don't think it's right. And I know it's going to upset some people. And I understand that Jessica has lied about some things. And I understand that her lies are her personal life. So in order to expose her lies, therefore, you have to find out from things in her personal life. But I think that Tracie Noelle is wrong. I think she's wrong, dead wrong. And I think she's going down a bad path. I don't think it's worth it what she's doing. There's plenty of things you can talk about that Jessica's doing on YouTube. I think it's weird and obsessive to keep requesting all of these reports. And like I said, using the Freedom of Information Act to get what you want, to use it against somebody. And I think it's gross. Do I like Jessica? No, but I don't agree with what Tracy's doing. And I feel like nobody is saying anything about it. Everybody's just kind of going along with it. And I don't like this whole thing in the prison community that it's just become acceptable to pull everyone's paperwork, to prove they're a snitch, to do this and do that. Jessica shouldn't have done it to Mindy. Tracy shouldn't have done it to Jessica. If somebody is an informant, that is dangerous to expose it on YouTube because you don't like them. I get that Jessica, you think she's a fraud, but it's fucked up and dangerous. And you could have put her kids at risk by exposing that information. And if you weren't wrong, the police would not have emailed you and told you to take it down. I want to know if Tracy, when she requested these records, are you telling these people that you're getting them for YouTube? Are you being transparent when you're contacting all of these places, talking to CEOs that can lie, talking to all these organizations, institutions, police departments, prisons? Are you telling all these people that you're going to be blasting it all on YouTube? Just a question. Why do you care that much? I'm sorry, but it's weird. It's weird, and I've got to be honest. I got to keep it real. I think there is now an anti-Jessica Kent community, just like anti-KJ. I think everyone is getting out of control, and I think people need to be very careful with how they move forward in the situation, because it's going to get real dark. It's going to get messy. Tracy and all these people who are friends now will end up fighting and turning on each other. It happens in every single anti-community. And now Tracy, I know I'm not trying to be repetitive here, but I feel like she is using the Freedom of Information Act to her advantage. And she's not like a news reporter. She's not a journalist. She's just a YouTuber who doesn't like Jessica Kent and is trying to request as many records as she can to use it against her. And I think it's wrong. I just do. That's just my opinion. Again, these are just my thoughts and feelings, and you can get upset about it. You can yell at me in my comments. I'm here for it, girl. I am here for it. If you guys want to come in my comments and bitch me out, go ahead. I love it. I love going back and forth with people. It's kind of my thing, you know. But I'm just trying to give you guys, like, I'm not trying to be a bitch here. I'm just trying to give you guys another thought. Like, take a step back. Everybody needs to calm down. Take a step out of the anti-Jessica Kent community and really ask yourself, what is the goal here? Do you want Jessica to be accountable? She's not going to be. She's only going to answer to and explain the things that she wants to. So how long is this going to go on for? Now, the drama with her and Jason and how she put that video up, that's content. That I'm all for. Let's talk about it. She did a YouTube video. I don't think she should have done it. We have our opinions because she put it on YouTube. I am all for commentary on stuff like that. But taking it off of YouTube and doing all this other stuff is just wrong. And if it were anybody else, us as commentary channels would say, hey, that's fucked up. But for some reason, everybody's fine with people doing it to Jessica Kent. So anyway, now that we're done with that, let's move on to Swoop and Johnny, the Do We Know Them, that whole shit show. Okay, I don't have a lot of time left to film, so I'm gonna do my best to kind of encompass and talk about everything that I want to say when it comes to this whole Swoop thing. And people are gonna be mad about this too, because people are already giving me shit about some of the things I'm saying on my community tab, okay? So, Swoop did her part 3 doc. We're gonna call it a doc. It's really just a commentary video like everybody else's, but she wants it to be a doc. So she did a doc that was supposed to be part 3 of the Colleen Ballinger saga, and it was supposed to be like Johnny's story. So what Swoop did was she interviewed Johnny, let him speak and tell his story for 6 hours, then kind of knew he was lying and let him continue to spill the beans, which I have issues with as well. And then blasted him on YouTube, said that he was a part of a grooming ring, that he was also inappropriate with minors, that he lied about a bunch of stuff when it came to Joshua Evans, okay? And I have a lot of issues with her video and everything that's going on now, okay? And in her video, she discussed the Do We Know Them podcast and H3, because both of those channels platformed Johnny and let him tell his story. And I felt like the part where she showed clips of the other creators who platformed Johnny, I kind of felt like it was really shady towards them and very passive aggressive and kind of like, oh, well, you guys believe Johnny and here I am exposing the truth, like, haha. That's kind of what it felt like to me. And I know Swoop has a lot of fans and a lot of people like her. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad that Johnny was exposed and called out for his lies, because he's hurting the other victims of the story by using other people's stories, making stuff up. So I want to make it very clear that I do not support Johnny lying, embellishing, using people's stories, using buzzwords like pee and grooming and all this stuff to make his story sound worse, comparing his story to Adam. We all know what happened. I don't agree with that whatsoever, and I know people are gonna misunderstand me and come in my comments and be like, Johnny's horrible. I know what Johnny did is wrong, but I also think that people are unfairly bullying the Do We Know Them podcast, which is Jessie Smiles and her friend Lily Marston. I think is how you say her last name. Sorry, I'm trying to move around because I'm like been sitting now for a while and like I feel like I need to stretch out. So, they decided to have Johnny on their platform, and Johnny shared his story. And during this time, Josh was apologizing over and over again for the things that Johnny was claiming he did. He didn't deny it at all. He didn't deny anything until the interview with Johnny. Until Johnny went on the Do We Know Them podcast, then Josh said he's embellishing, after he already admitted and apologized multiple times for multiple things. So for people to now act like Lily and Jessie are just horrible people because they believed Johnny makes no sense to me. It makes zero sense to me. Everybody believed Johnny. Everyone. Everybody. H3 believed Johnny and platformed him, but somehow H3 is not getting any hate, but Jessie and Lily are, because they gave somebody a voice who wanted to share their story. Now, I could see if Johnny was making these claims and Josh was denying them all, and there was no proof, there was no admission of guilt, there was no proof provided of anything, and Johnny was making these claims, and the Do We Know Them had Johnny on to just run wild with the accusations, and there was no proof out there. I don't think they would have done that. I really don't think they would have done that if there wasn't all this proof out there of the things Josh did do. If everybody on YouTube was calling Johnny a victim, So why the hell would Jesse and Lily not think that Johnny's a victim of Josh? I don't understand why they're being bullied and attacked now over it. And in fact, anybody who questioned Johnny during that time was being bullied. So if you even came out to ask questions, like I made a post about Trisha Paytas, and I thought Johnny was kind of shady the way he handled the situation and exposed that information. I got jumped on. People were like, he's a victim, shut up, he did this, don't question Johnny and Adam. So what do people want? Do you want people to question victims and make sure it's the truth, or do you not want people to do it? The internet literally cannot decide what it wants, and I am so tired of this shit. I think that Swoop did them really dirty, and there's no reason why she couldn't have reached out to them before her video dropped, even if she did it right before her video dropped. From what I have heard, okay, this is alleged, she has an open line of communication with Jessie Smiles. So why the hell did Swoop not warn her and say, hey, I found stuff, I can't exactly tell you what it is because I'm coming out with a really important video, but don't trust Johnny. A lot of shit is happening behind the scenes. It looks like he lied. Be careful. Like, start preparing what you're going to do to address it. That would have been the nice thing to do. And some people are saying, oh, she doesn't owe anyone anything. Right, but that just shows me the type of person she is, in my opinion, because that's what I would have done. She claims that she is just for victims. It's all about awareness, documentaries, helping victims. If that were true, her concern would not have been getting the story out first and keeping it quiet for a month, because she did tease this information a month ago. For somebody that claims they're just about advocacy, awareness, this is not drama, it's dangerous. Like, all she does is talk about petty university. Here's my merch. Here's the sponsor. It's all about money, money, money. And it's all very fake to me. Like, I just feel like Swoop is coming off as very fake and someone who's pretending they're all about advocacy when they're really just a drama channel out to make money like everybody else. Just saying. And I think it's really shady. I also think that it didn't need to be 4 hours long. That's absolutely ridiculous. She also did not show proof of a grooming ring. She didn't. Where's the grooming ring proof? She didn't show who the person was that was anonymous saying like all this inappropriate stuff was going on. She just did the trust me bro receipts, who was, you know, coined by Zyla Gets Real. Trust me bro receipts, which she was accusing everyone else of doing with Joshua Evans. And I also didn't like how she made Joshua Evans to look like he's just completely innocent. And because Johnny lied about some things, all of a sudden it's all a lie. That's not true. Not true whatsoever. There's proof of him video chatting with minors. There's proof of him giving his phone number to a minor. There's proof of him hanging out with a minor fan in a hotel room with Colleen. There's proof of these things, and all of those things are inappropriate. Yeah, he took accountability, but in my opinion, that doesn't matter. If you're weird and inappropriate with children, I really don't give a fuck about your accountability. You're just a weirdo for life, in my opinion. Just saying. It's just my opinion. Now, do I think Colleen did him dirty? Absolutely. I think she was horrible to him, toxic, and she's a horrible person. But I also think he was weird and inappropriate being friends with fans. I'm not saying he's a P, he groomed. I'm not using any of those crazy buzzwords. All I'm saying is from what I have seen proof for, what Josh has admitted, he literally did a tweet saying he participated in abusive creator-fan relationships. If he did nothing wrong, why is he saying that? If he was innocent, he should not be telling people that he was in abusive creator-fan relationships. That's weird to say you did that when you didn't. Also, he never told Johnny he was lying. Why did he go along? And I understand people, like, I've talked to multiple people about this behind the scenes, like my friends, and a couple of them think they understand why he didn't actually come out and deny it. And he was kind of just like, it's fine, I'm guilty, sorry to everybody, your feelings are real. But that just doesn't make sense to me. I don't care if you're not a confrontational person. I don't care whatever your reason is for being scared to come out. You never admit you're guilty if you didn't do it. That's fucking weird on YouTube. Like, that makes no sense. On top of that, he was looking to other creators like Swoop. He wanted to go on the Do We Know Them podcast to platform him. Go on your own channel. If Johnny is lying about you and accusing you of actual crimes like rooming and being a P and all of this stuff, get on your fucking platform. Grow some balls. Be a man. Get on your platform. Show the receipts. Stop playing like you are poor me. I'm doing so awful. Everybody hates me. Like, it's cringe, and it's just, I don't know. I'm trying not to be too mean because I know a lot of you like Josh, but I just think he's a little bitch. He's acting like a little bitch, and I'm sorry, but he was inappropriate with children. That is not a lie, dude. That's not a lie, and he admitted to having inappropriate relationships with his fans. He also said he looked to children for validation. That's weird. It's the same exact shit that Colleen did. But for some reason, y'all are fine calling Colleen a groomer and a P, but everyone's up in arms that Josh is being called that. It's not like an equal thing here. Everyone's raging and upset at what Colleen did, which was bad, and you're fine calling her all of the buzzwords in the book. But Josh did the same shit, and he also co-signed Colleen's nasty shit for years. While doing it himself and being inappropriate friendships. And I'm not saying sexual at all. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying he was inappropriate in the way of doing things like that. So I want to make that clear. I'm saying inappropriate as any relationship with a minor and a fan when you're in a position with power is inappropriate and wrong. Okay, so really quick, I want to talk about this girl who came out on Twitter, okay? She was the anonymous person who came forward in the Swoop documentary, and then she decided she was scared and pulled back and didn't want to use her stuff, okay? But Swoop was going to use this for some reason as a way to show that Johnny's a liar and Josh is not inappropriate. But I find this girl's tweets kind of concerning, and I want to start off by saying I am so sorry to this girl. I'm not trying to be mean to her. I feel horrible that somebody used her story and embellished it to get attention, and that's not right, and I'm glad that she found her voice to speak up. But I found a couple things in her tweet thread concerning, so we're gonna read. Finally have the courage to say that I was the second anonymous person who came forward about Johnny and Swoop's documentary. I initially gave multiple statements, but then became so terrified of retaliation that I pulled my audio from the record. Looking back, I'm really sorry. That's just horrible. I wish I would have not pulled my statements, but I know that that was the best decision for me at the time. Johnny has been using my story without my consent to push a narrative that is untrue. In his TikTok live, Johnny referenced two girls who Josh, quote unquote, latched onto in 2014 to 2016. One of those girls was me. He tried to paint me as a victim of Joshua's, when I am not. I have never been by Joshua. I have never been groomed. I have never had inappropriate conversations. I am not a victim, and Johnny used my relationship with Joshua for his own benefit. Now that's what's concerning me. Why did this person have a relationship with Joshua when she was a kid, a minor? That is still inappropriate, whether or not he did all those things, and it's still inappropriate that she's saying she even had a relationship with him. And for Swoop, who claims she's an expert on this stuff, she would see that that is still something inappropriate and does not completely exonerate Joshua Evans. And that's concerning that she had a relationship with him at all. Joshua has been nothing but kind to me and has never crossed any boundaries with me. Johnny knows that. I had a big following in the fandom way back when, and he knows that my close relationship with Joshua was well known within the fandom. He used that fact to his advantage and tried to twist the narrative to show that if I'm a victim, then Joshua must be this terrible human being who betrays the trust of those who support him the most. I am finally able to say what I want to say about Johnny without being afraid. Johnny, you are a vile human being who cares about you and only you. You twist the narrative to fit your needs and you discount the experience of actual victims. You take up spaces you don't belong in. You minimize the experiences of those who have been abused. Try to make your own stories seem more important than actual victim stories. You are a liar. You are a manipulator. You are an enabler. So that is 2 times in this thread that she admits to having a relationship with Josh. And again, I'm not coming at this girl. Don't show her any hate. I am just saying that Swoop should have seen this and recognized that this girl had a close relationship with an adult and a close friendship. That is weird. Colleen was a lot more inappropriate with her friendships. So I will say that. She did talk about estual stuff, which is disgusting. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Josh was also friends with these kids. And if someone's saying he had a close relationship with him, and Johnny's not the only person, so now there's more people who were close friends of Josh when he was a grown-ass adult, that is not okay. And I don't understand why everybody's flipping out, because it's not just the fact of Colleen saying inappropriate stuff. We've all been saying this whole time, don't be friends with kids. Johnny shouldn't, Colleen shouldn't, and Josh shouldn't. And he was also inappropriate. So it was not all a lie. And did he take accountability? He did. He did take accountability. And now all of you guys are saying it's a lie when he's taken accountability himself. Like, I just don't understand the internet. Now, Johnny definitely did embellish things. He did lie about some things. I think he thought that he would be able to get away with making his story more dramatic and crazy with Swoop, because Swoop saw him as a victim, and she can pretend that she doesn't. She can pretend like everybody else fell for it, but she didn't. She called him a victim. She supported him. She said, thank you for the interview. Adam called him a victim when he was reacting to H3's podcast. So the fact that now these people are acting like they're so much better than do we know them, and do we know them didn't do the right apology. Joshua's being a huge dick to them on Twitter, and I think he's being a complete asshole. He has no one to be mad at but himself. You should be mad at yourself, buddy, for not standing your fucking ground and proving your damn innocence. Does that suck? Of course. Should you have to prove your innocence? No. But in these types of situations, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you say, here's all my DMs. What do you need? I'll show you anything. This is a lie. This is a lie. This is a lie. He didn't do that. He took accountability and said he was inappropriate. So why the fuck are everybody coddling him? Like, his fans are so cringe, you guys. I know I'm ranting now. But they're like, oh my God, Josh, you're like the light. You're shining a light all over us. Like, we just love you. Stay strong. Like, it's just too much, you guys. It's cringe. It's weird, awkward behavior. And I just can't stand it. And I don't like I was in Jesse, and I know it's hard for me to stay organized, and I don't have a lot of time, so I'm kind of just spitting out shit at the top of my head. I don't go by a script. I freestyle. I'm trying to get all my points out, okay? So forgive me if I miss anything. I know my friend Melissa will be in the comments to be like, you forgot this, like this. I know she'll be in the comments, like, reminding people of stuff that I forgot. So the Do We Know Them podcast, I think they were done dirty by Swoop. I think Swoop should have warned people what was going on, but she wanted to get the story out first. So I just don't think she's who people think she is. And I think she's more worried about making a drama and a circus show than actual advocacy for victims, which is fine. But I don't like people who pretend they're advocates. Do we see a pattern here? Like, it's like we're bringing awareness, we're advocates. No, you are a motherfucking drama channel. We are all drama channels. We all use this stuff for content. We all talk about drama and gossip and all this stuff. Not one channel is better than the other when it comes to your documentary channel. You're a commentary channel. You're a tea channel. We're all fucking drama channels. Now, some of us go way too far. People like Honora, people like Tracie Noelle, that go way too far to get their revenge on people. But at the end of the day, Swoop is not what you guys think she is. She's a commentary channel that has an entire team working for her, doing everything for her. She comes, she sits on camera, she reads a script, she has a whole team doing all of her research, and she presents her videos like they are some kind of documentary. And I want to show a tweet from somebody named Danielle Starry. I actually follow her channel, and she always has like the funniest, like insightful things to say sometimes. And she put this tweet up, I'll put it on the screen right now, about, oh, are there any other documentaries that have ad reads and merch promos in them? No, you don't see that in documentaries, just saying. And I also have a problem now with the way Swoop is on Twitter, kind of teasing that there's possible SA victims when it comes to Johnny. That's disgusting. What is wrong with everybody? Why are people okay with this? I don't understand. It's like everybody gets so wrapped up in the drama and the anger and the angry mob. Like everybody's decided now Jesse and Lily are the villain. Johnny's the villain. Now Josh is like a saint and he's innocent. No. Not every story has a hero. Some stories, they're all villains. Johnny's the villain. Josh is the villain. Colleen's the villain. They're all bad. Adam has done shit wrong. Nobody has been innocent in the situation. Now, Adam was much younger for a much longer period of time when he was involved with them. But I'm just saying, it's not as black and white as these are the bad guys, these are the good guys. Josh is not innocent, and Johnny could have just stuck to the things that Josh actually did, and that would have been inappropriate enough to talk about, but he didn't because he wants attention, he wants to use other people's stories, and it's disgusting. But I also want to say that I don't think these situations are meant for YouTubers. Swoop is not a professional. I'm not a professional. None of us are professionals that work with victims. You have to be very careful when interviewing a victim of a crime, a victim of anything. There is a certain way that it has to be handled. And Swoop, talking to all these victims now behind the scenes and kind of putting them out there anonymous without showing any proof, and now all these people are coming forward to say they're a victim of Johnny, but when she's saying that we shouldn't have done that to Joshua, but now she's doing it to Johnny, but she's teasing it. And it's just weird to me. And there have been so many situations where victims came out about these things and people were lying. It happens. It happens. Stop crucifying Jesse and Lily because they believed Johnny and wanted to give him a voice. They shouldn't have had to apologize for an hour. They didn't really do anything wrong. They gave their opinion based on the facts that were out at the time. Swoop is the one who is now inserting herself into the situation and talking to all these people behind the scenes trying to get interviews. Where's the Colleen interview? Josh is raging mad that nobody got his side, but does anybody care that Colleen didn't get an interview? Josh and Colleen are no different in my opinion. They're not. They were both inappropriate. Josh took more accountability than Colleen. That's it. But he was just as inappropriate with fans as she was. I think he was sick of living in her shadow. He liked the attention from the fandom. And he used Johnny to run the Twitter account. He wanted his own character, like Miranda Sings was that character. He wanted the Sarah Ridiculous character to be something. And he had Johnny running it. And there had to have been a certain inappropriate friendship there. If you're giving someone your number, having them run your Twitter account, video chatting with your fans, and you all let Josh take accountability and now saying he's innocent, it makes no sense. And I think we need to be really careful how we handle situations that involve victims in crimes, grooming, SA, all of this stuff. It's not drama. And I think it's gross to tease on your Twitter that there's new victims, and if they come forward, support them. And it's just all gross to me. And I don't like how she's handling this whole thing. And it's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. You can rant in the comments and say I disagree and all this stuff. And I probably forgot a ton of shit because I have been talking back and forth with multiple of my friends about this situation. I keep getting on with them and ranting all of my thoughts, and now I'm sitting in front of the camera trying to get all of my thoughts out here. And another thing I wanted to bring up is the way Swoop went about getting Johnny exposed, I think was wrong as well. If a victim, an alleged potential victim, is coming to you and sharing their story. I feel like if Swoop thinks you're lying, she will use your story and blast all over YouTube to attack you. And I know nobody cares right now because it's Johnny, and he's the most hated man on the internet right now, but he still was a victim of the Colleen fandom to a certain extent, with Josh, with Colleen, with the whole community. All of the children in the Colleen fandom are victims of inappropriate relationships, very toxic community. They're all victims of that. And Johnny is too. Even though he may have embellished things, he still came there as a kid and he was taught this behavior. Let's remember that. Johnny came into that community as a very young kid and was taught this behavior. And now he's gone on to do it to others. But that doesn't mean he wasn't a victim of it, right? Just like Josh is inappropriate, but he was a victim of Colleen. And it's like a very toxic domino effect in these disgusting communities and fandoms that seem like they happen sometimes when you have a big YouTuber at the top and a bunch of people fawning over them, obsessed with them, and worshiping them. And I feel like now this has become such a shit show and a circus, and I don't think any of us are equipped, educated, or qualified enough to handle what Swoop is trying to do with all of this shit. I don't. Leave Jessie Smiles and Lily alone. They apologized for what they felt like they got wrong, but they also explained and showed receipts for the things that they still feel the same about. They showed more receipts about Joshua than Swoop did. So I'm hoping that in her interview, she shows all that shit and makes him address it. So we'll see. You guys know I will be doing an update after the interview comes out. I will give my thoughts on that as well, but these are my thoughts as of right now, and I'm sure some of you are going to hate it. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. I gotta go. I have no more time to film. I gotta shut up. If my friends are in the comments, Abby, Melissa, anybody I've been talking to, let me know in the comments your thoughts and what I forgot, okay? Okay, bye.